All right, you are listening to the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio, and I am Caleb, and with me I have Rachel.
Hello.
And Bryce.
Hello.
In today's show, we will have the second part of the Parent Corner all ready for you. We will also talk a bit about a certain character in a certain game, and later we will have your nerd news. All right, on to the Nerd Edification Hour. Let the show begin. So, Bryce, you might actually contribute something today to the show.
Oh, you got jokes.
Yes, I have lots of them. He has an interesting review of a movie none of us have seen or heard before. So, Bryce, what do you got?
Well, this last Friday I watched Journey to the West. It's another one of Stephen Chow's vehicles, so it's along the veins of some of his cult classic films like Shaolin Soccer and Kung Fu Hustle. So it deals a lot with mythology from that particular region. So they kind of blend that together with some modern concepts. And this one is set more or less in the past, really. And it was kind of fun, but it was missing some of the oomph that some of his other films have. It wasn't quite epic all the way through, whereas Shaolin Soccer or Kung Fu Hustle is just non-stop epic movie. So honestly, I would kind of put it at a 2.5 out of 5. You know,
That's really low. That's
yeah. I wasn't upset that I watched it, but I did enjoy watching it. You know, just based on the fact that it's a Stephen Chow film. But and it wasn't as fantastic as I was hoping it would be. Honestly.
So, in sunshines, that would be a rainy day.
I don't deal in sunshine, just donuts.
Only me. I only rate in sunshines.
Oh goodness. Well, that was a good review. Good job, Bryce.
In other words, don't watch it?
If you're into that sort of
shot,
thing,
you know, maybe it would appeal to other people more than it appealed to me.
If you're into that thing.
Yeah, and I'm into that thing, but it just wasn't as good for me. Maybe if I'd been hanging out with some other friends that were like-minded and we all got psyched for it, but it didn't really happen for me.
Maybe if you made fun of it. Well, because typically, if it's a bad movie, you end up making fun of it, and it makes it better.
I mean, as far as those types of movies goes, usually they're kind of a comedy to begin with. I don't even think it's bad enough to qualify for the Mystery Science Theater treatment.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
It was there.
It was somewhere in between,
That
huh?
really puts it into perspective.
Yeah.
Very neutral type of movie. Like, it was there. I'm not upset that I watched it. I'm not extraordinarily happy that I watched it. But it was just there.
It was a movie.
It was a movie.
There you go.
Yeah. 2 hours of my life that I'll never see again.
Well, that was it. Thank you, Bryce. And this song we're going to play as we take a small little break, Wherever I Go, from the Avengers soundtrack. Again, that was Wherever I Go from the Avengers soundtrack. Now we will have your nerd vocab. Today's nerd vocab is theorycraft. It is a mathematical analysis of game mechanics to discover the best strategies and tactics to maximize player effectiveness. It uses tools such as statistics, ability priority list, and simultaneous to analyze strategies. Just a lot of words. Ugh.
Simulations to analyze
yeah, that
strategies.
works.
Okay,
That
simulation. Sorry, that was a lot of words at once in my face. So basically, I'm just to put it down. It just takes all the fun out of a game, pretty much.
I don't necessarily think it takes all the fun out of the game.
It does.
Well, it's useful for tournaments and online gaming, perhaps. I mean, it was coined by StarCraft players, which are going to be using that. I mean, they have to determine the best way to beat certain levels.
I'll agree with you on that, but some people want to succeed, and if you're mathematically inclined enough to go the distance to create these spreadsheets to, maximize your damage output, and you enjoy that sort of thing, then that's fun for you. It's not necessarily fun for everybody else because they may be they may be behind the curve, and you may be at the top of the curve, but, unfortunately, that's some people are professional gamers, and some people are not. And
Hey, I understand why they use it, but,
Yeah.
math and video games, and look, on the developer standpoint, that is cool beans, but I'm not going to do math when I play video games. Let's be honest. I'm definitely not.
Well, yeah,
I play it for fun. Math is not fun for me.
I'm
at
playing
all.
video games to
Yeah.
avoid math.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm
mean-
in college, no math. I play video games to get away from that.
It's just you sit there and you figure out the core mechanics, so you're kind of taking the world apart as it is and deciphering the code and the formulas and stuff, and it breaks the barrier between what the developer is supposed to know and what a player is supposed to see. So, like, if you're fighting a boss and you're like, oh, well, he has a 50% chance to do this move and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, well, if I see a giant hammer coming at me, I just want to avoid it. I'm not going to run all these scenarios in my brain. I just want to have fun.
I mean, sure, it's going to put you at a certain advantage, yeah.
I kind of feel like, as a veteran World of Warcraft player, I've been playing for almost 8 years, and I've regularly been raiding, and in some cases, like for a few years anyways, I was in guilds that, were typically top of my server. I think it always helps to have one or two people in your guild that are mathematically inclined enough that they want to explore that, because they can help you as a whole, better your progress into new content. Sometimes when you're throwing yourself headfirst into new content like raid bosses, you have to eke out every little bit of benefit that you possibly can before the developers start to nerf the content. And to nerf is basically to make it easier for you to, so that people that are not as skilled can actually go through and defeat the content that they've made available. And they eventually have to nerf content, because if they don't, the people that are playing their games are going to be upset. They're not able to experience the new content, and it basically leaves a lot of people out in the dust.
Right. I know another type of game that has a lot of theorycraft in it. Fighting games. A lot of
Super Smash Brothers, for example.
Yeah.
I have
Really?
Yes,
Yes,
I have
there are a
two
lot.
friends of mine that do that. Like, literally, they will sit there and play Super Smash Brothers and do all these analysis. They have all these button combos memorized and all this percentages and likelihoods of drop rates and all this different stuff memorized. And I'm sitting here going, why are you spending your time on that when you could be going out and, say, getting a job?
Yeah, those are also people who the pro Smash Brother gamers who say, okay, we're going to turn all items off and we're just getting. Why? That's no fun.
Yeah, it
I
takes
mean,
the fun out of the game.
Yeah, it does.
I think
don't
to an
agree with that.
extent it is useful, but once you go overboard and just do it for everything, it's gonna definitely not be okay.
So there is a point in which someone really should just take a look and say, huh, this game, is it fun anymore? Am I having fun with this? I don't know. Things like that. It's just,
Yeah, again, it comes back to the, my initial statement. Some people enjoy picking video games to pieces in order to be, to be skillful. That's been going on for years. You were saying memorizing button combo presses for, certain moves or whatever. But that's part of the game. But, I remember as a kid playing games like Mortal Kombat, the first one, Killer Instinct, stuff like that, Street Fighter. And yeah, it's fun to get in there and just mash buttons, but it's also fun to do a really awesome hurricane kick or, Hadokens and stuff like that. It's really cool to do that, and sometimes you have to learn and memorize and do things that are outside of the normal jump in and just mash buttons and hope for the best.
I mean, that's what I do. I just hope for the best and press every button possible. That's what I do when I play Halo in co-op. I run head first and scream my head off and just hope I'll do okay.
Low kick
But,
people to death.
I mean, oh yeah, totally. I mean,
that's how I
remember-
learn. That's how I learn. I just jump in and just say,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I
Don't do that.
remember renting a a game or something from Movie Gallery and you open it up and there's like a piece of like pad paper in there with all these button combos, like this equals a certain type of kick or a special move, and I'm just like, well, this is useful, but okay.
What's a movie gallery? Oh, joke.
Oh, yeah, because they don't exist anymore.
No. Oh.
Nope.
I actually used to work for movie gallery, so
I kind of miss them a little bit.
A little bit, but
Yeah.
I love Redbox. I'm really happy with it.
I love Redbox, I love Netflix, I love Hulu, and I even like GameFly.
Amazon has really good streaming too.
Oh, yep.
When
Amazon,
the video quality is.
Yes, when it's okay.
The generation will never know what we 90 kids have to go through. Well, Bryce isn't a 90s kid. I don't know what he is. I don't know.
Don't make me hit you with my walker. I swear. I will.
You are a mystery, sir.
Oh, goodness. All right, so shall we move on to the next topic, or are we too into this one?
I think we did mention Smash Bros, so I think this is a really good
Yeah, we can
segue.
leeway on into that.
Segue. Fancy pants.
Yeah.
Leeway. All right, so I was looking around the internet, and I found a few things, several things, actually. So apparently with the release of a new... So at the Nintendo Direct, or Smash Brothers Direct, they released a new character saying Zero Suit Samus and Sheik are going to be their own characters. I was excited. I was stoked. I didn't even realize this one thing that a lot of people realized, and that was apparently Zero Suit Samus has high heels because she has some jet boots on. And a lot of people are saying really bad things about the game in general just because they're using a certain model from one of her certain games, the Other M game. And see what Smash Brothers is, like we were talking about earlier, it's just a party game where you go in and fight. But a lot of people are really upset over that, like Zero Suit Samus is sexualized because her suit's not on, she's wearing spandex, and she has high heels.
It's kind of a hard argument to make with Nintendo. It's just one character that looks like that. Just
Right.
one. I mean, if you want to talk about over-sexualization of women in fighting games, let's look at Soul Calibur or Mortal Kombat. Bayonetta, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All of them. Everyone has some bone to pick or wants to start some argument. I mean, in my opinion, the jet boots wouldn't really look cool without the heels, because I think the jets are actually in the heels. And I mean, she's a woman, so why not put her in heels?
Yeah, it doesn't
Exactly.
necessarily mean that it's sexualized. I mean, some people can interpret it as that, but she's fully clothed. There's nothing, over...
Revealing.
Revealing.
Exactly about it. So the high heels, it's just an aspect of femininity. Just because she is in the big suit all the time and looks really awesome and kicks a lot of butt doesn't mean that every now and then she doesn't like to, sit on the couch, drink a glass of wine, and go out for a lovely evening.
Yeah, I mean, some people are saying though because they made her like the heels because the heels are sexual and blah blah blah, that apparently beauty equals weak, and we all know that Samus is not weak.
Far from it.
And if anything, heels hurt more because they have spikes.
I don't know if you guys ever saw the movie Red Eye, but Cillian Murphy got stabbed in the leg with a stiletto, so those can be used as a weapon. I think that's appropriate.
I don't know the veracity behind what I'm about to say, but I seem to recall something where I guess researchers had determined that the amount of pressure that a woman puts on the point of a heel when she makes connection with the ground is the same as an elephant standing on one foot.
That's really impressive.
It's kind of scary.
I kind of feel empowered now when I wear heels. I'm going to be thinking about that now whenever I wear heels. Thank you.
Deliberately stomping through. Rawr.
So, I mean, a lot of people are just getting upset about it, and they're saying that she's weak, but we all know Samus isn't weak. So basically saying, for those of you being air quote haters, need to stop hating and be quiet, because it's still going to be a fun game. So, and she's not going to be weak. If anything, jet boots
are sweet.
I know. I didn't even notice they were heels. I'm just like, jet boots. Oh my gosh! And then somebody pointed out to me, "Hey, she's wearing high heels." I'm like, what? I didn't even notice that at first. I guess.
Jet heels.
Jet
Jet
heels.
heels.
Jet heels.
Well, they said they were boots, so.
I mean, honestly, however you want to change the skin is fine. But personally, I just wonder why they just didn't leave her boots on from the normal outfit that she usually wears. So I don't know.
They wanted a different element, I guess.
I guess.
The design team decided, well, we're going to put her in spandex, so why not heels?
well, better than the earlier option. Wasn't in the first Metroid, if you use the secret
she's
code,
always...
Justin Bailey, wasn't she full on in the buff?
No, she was in a bikini. But I mean,
She
she's been
was really
sexualized from the
close.
beginning,
really,
so.
really close. Yeah.
Yeah,
And they're
she's
just
in
now,
bikini.
they're just now bringing up this argument.
I know,
now.
right? Oh, it's Emma. She's over-sexualized. And, dude, she's always been that way.
Well, when you're looking at 8-bit pixels and you can't tell exactly what you're looking at.
I mean, of course, that was a big thing back in the day. Like, oh my God, she's in a swimsuit. Whoa!
Oh my goodness. Love this game. So yeah. So that's that on that idea. So shush, you haters. Now we will take a short little break here, play 2 songs. The first song is Simply Being Loved. I don't even know how to pronounce that artist's name.
BT. Super complicated.
Okay.
2 letters.
Oh. No, it
BT.
has something. The title came with something else. Anyways, we're going to do it. We're going to take a small break. So
Okay.
thank you for listening. You're listening to the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio. That was still alive from Portal. Now, Bryce has found something very interesting, so before we get to Parents' Corner, he would like to share that with you. Bryce?
Basically, the New York Times is reporting that simply liking a product or a brand on Facebook or downloading a coupon online could limit your right to properly sue a corporation. For example, General Mills, the maker of cereals like Cheerios and Chex, as well as brands like Bisquick and Betty Crocker, has quietly added language to its website to alert consumers that they give up their right to sue the company if they download coupons, join it in online communities like Facebook, enter a company-sponsored sweepstakes or contest, or interact with it in a variety of other ways. This essentially means that if you have any kind of dispute relating to their product, that you waive your right to sue them and agree that anything you're going to go through has to be resolved through binding arbitration. That's insane.
That's ridiculous.
That's insane. I consider it a favor when I go out and I say, you know what, I really love Honey Nut Cheerios. I'm going to Facebook and I'm going to like them because they're that awesome.
Honey Nut Cheerios, yes.
Now with no suing.
Now with no suing. Like us on Facebook. So
so you can't sue us.
For added flavor.
Yeah, bitterness. I consider it a favor when I go out and like a product like that, and to add terms like that to your service agreement is shady and underhanded. It makes me want to go on my Facebook and go through and unlike every single corporation or business entity that I've ever liked. Ever.
You should do it just to stick it to the man.
Yeah, do the one unlike.
We don't. Oh, goodness.
Ugh.
So, today we have Parents' Corner. Now we will commence with the second part of the ESRB rating, and we're going to talk about it. And last week we only touched on the, another air quote, young part of the list, and now comes the brutal part. So, Rachel?
All right. To go over what we went over last week in the ESRB ratings, we went over early childhood, which is for 3 or older, everyone, which is ages 6 and older, and everyone 10 plus, which is 10 and older. The ESRB.org can provide a complete description of those if you missed it last week, and as well as rating pending, which is games that haven't received a rating yet. This week, however, we're going to go over the serious ones, as Caleb said earlier. These ones are the ones that questions arise a lot. Parents will ask, is my child supposed to play this game? This is the types of ratings that you will often see in the media in stories that cover video game violence and stuff like that. So, the first one is rated T for teen. It's maybe suitable for ages 13 and older. Titles in this category may contain violence, suggestive themes, crude humor, minimal blood, simulated gambling, and or infrequent use of strong language. You know, simulated gambling, I mean, that's... It's that, like,
Oh, goodness.
poker, slot machines. I mean, they deal with that enough on Candy Crush and stuff like that. Should those games be rated T for teen?
Well, used to, the Pokemon games had gambling in them. It was just
Oh,
it was
it's
a
still there.
lighthearted gambling.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's still there,
It's
definitely.
pachinko and stuff.
I mean, I can think of a lot of games that have that. You know, Rayman Legends,
Yeah.
which is not an adult. I mean, it's a fun platform game with just some simulated cartoon violence, but it's not something that I would look at and say, I don't want my kid to play this game at all. Like, it's fun. But they have these little scratch-off tickets, and that's simulated gambling.
And what it means by simulated gambling is a player can gamble without betting or wagering real cash or currency. And I think they put it under T for teen because, you know, they don't want to teach kids about gambling. It's, you know, if they have the diathesis for a addictive personality, gambling is a very addictive thing. So
Yeah.
by your teenage years, they may consider it a little bit safer for them to be kind of in that environment. Maybe they're, you know, they know better by that. I'm not exactly sure, but that's the T for teen rating.
Yeah, it's there.
It's there. The next one is mature, which is 17 or older. Titles in this category contain intense violence, blood and gore, sexual content, and or strong language.
That
Yeah.
sounds like Duke Nukem to me.
Yeah, pretty much.
Say so. If you like swearing, boobs, and butts, and ripping intestines out of people, that game is for you.
Well,
Grand
and
Theft
it's be
Auto.
rated M for mature. It's going to
mean,
be pretty much, it's something an adult would play.
Right.
That's something that you shouldn't let your kids play. Definitely not. They don't need to be involved in that.
Examples of these would be Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, Mortal Kombat. Well, what else am I missing that all these 12-year-olds keep playing?
Everything.
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 It's. Ugh,
You know,
I don't like
back
it.
in my day, when I was 12,
I played some Mortal Kombat.
no, I didn't. I played Mario.
No, definitely. You know, when I'm in a store, obviously, and I see a parent buying, you know, Black Ops or something, Call of Duty for their 13-year-old, I'm just like, why? Ugh. And there's not a gamer that I haven't talked to that say that they're not irked by this. You know, I've been going around and asking them, like, do you, you know, when you see a parent buy, say, Mortal Kombat for the kid, what do you think? And they're just like, oh, I don't like it. So I don't know if it's like a psychological thing that's saying, well, I never got to play M games when I was young, why should anybody else? Or if they're actually concerned for the well-being of the children themselves. I don't know.
You know, in the end, it's really up to the parent. They could, you know, feel that the child is mature and smart enough to play mature games, so they won't really pay attention to that. They'll pay more attention to the story. I don't know. I don't know. For a lot of the mature games, I think that, you know, there's not really a story.
No. I mean, not all M games are really bad. Some of them are M because, you know, okay, take Assassin's Creed. It has a little bit of, you know, swearing and stuff, but there's not too much, you know, intestines being ripped out all over the place. None of that really.
I think, you know, if they're slapping a mature rating on the Assassin's Creed stuff, it's going to be more likely because you're assassinating people,
Yeah.
which is frowned upon.
And sometimes actually, like in Melee, in Smash Brothers Melee, I just remember they put the T rating just because, because actually the difficulty, like, you know, it has violence. It has Mario punching Yoshi in the face and throwing off, which the Smash Brothers before that didn't have a T rating. So I don't know why would Smash Brothers Melee have T rating? I wonder.
It's going to change with the times. People's opinion on what is appropriate and what's not has changed from then to now.
Much like Pokemans. Yes,
Yeah.
I know I'm saying it wrong. Morals change.
Oh goodness.
Well, the last rating is, it's AO. Stands for adults only. Only persons that are 18 and older should play this. And it's pretty obvious why when I read the description to you. Titles in this category may include prolonged scenes of intense violence and or graphic sexual content and nudity. Nudity, excuse me.
Nudity?
Nudity.
Nudity.
Blah, 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 blah. Putting emphasis on the wrong syllable. But typically you don't see these games in stores anymore. Well, not regular stores anyway.
Let's go to GameStop. We have a back area with the...
Just avoid the bleach smell. It's nothing.
And or you can order them online, I guess. I'm not going to recommend this to you because you just don't see them anymore. It's not a rating that it just is there just to be there just in case.
I mean, just the adult only, obviously there's going to be prolonged sexual scenes. How to... that doesn't work for me. I'm sorry. That doesn't work.
It's just...
Definitely, it's why somebody actually sat down to program that and then get that rating on that game. It's really sad.
And to think that game is probably somebody out there. It's someone's dream. They're like, I have this dream and a great idea for a video game. Everybody's going to love it.
Well,
Except everybody in America because of the rating system.
well, I'm betting like when those type of games go through the ESRB, they sit there and they just shake their heads and they slap an AO on it and they just push it away.
But definitely, what we want to say is, parents, you have to look out for these kind of ratings, especially if they have an M on it, because you really shouldn't be buying that for your kid unless you really feel confident. But it's your morals, I guess.
You know, I think I read somewhere that over 70% of the American population right now are actually video gamers. They actively play video games for more than 1 hour a day. And the majority of those games are rated either T or M.
Well,
unless you're above the age of 40 and in which you're playing Facebook games like
Yeah.
Farmville.
And those don't go through the ratings process, actually.
They should. Farmville is awful. It needs to be rated out of existence.
I mean,
Oh,
unless
goodness.
they put like a console edition out or something.
Oh, no,
It's
please
not-
don't.
oh, no.
Don't give them any
That's-
ideas.
That's what we have Harvest Moon for. It's completely different.
Oh, goodness.
Ish.
Right.
We almost opened a can of worms with those two words. Harvest Moon.
What is that Nintendo game where you can run around digging up bells and stuff?
Animal Crossing.
Animal
That's
Crossing.
it. I keep wanting to say Animal Farm, but that's that Orwell book.
I think recently they slapped the E10 plus rating on that, actually.
For what?
Mild violence, I want to say. Maybe suggestive. I don't know. I think in one of the Animal Crossings you can get married or something.
Maybe
Mild-
for the rage it induces when a character constantly asks you for the same thing.
I mean, this is a interesting game that kids buy because, I mean, you buy a house, you have to pay bills, you have to do stuff. You're a mayor of a town that has to keep like the people happy. This is a weird game for children to buy, but they play it. And
Where does the viilence rating coming on that? I wonder.
E10 plus. That's just what was. I think it was slapped on that. Yeah.
I don't say it though. It doesn't make any sense. Oh my goodness. Well, there you have it. Just look out for these ratings. We'll probably preach on this a little more. At least I will be like, okay, the media and the blah. Okay, so now we're gonna take another short little break. Unless you two have anything else to say on this. Anything sparks your interest or what?
Any further questions on the ESRB ratings could found on the website. There's like 6 pages about it.
There you go. 6 pages of wonderfulness, wonderful education.
And charts and graphs.
Oh goodness. So
Theorycraft, maybe?
Theorycraft, yes.
Moving on.
Ruining games since StarCraft. So, you're listening to the Nerd Edification Hour. We're going to take a little break. We're going to play some songs. Here is Crossing Fields, the Japanese version, and next week I will play the English version. So,
It's from Sword Art Online.
I was going to say that, but thank you.
Fancy
All right,
pants.
we'll be right back. That was Devour by Shinedown. Now we move on to the last little segment of our show. We have many things to choose from, but Bryce and Rachel are really excited about the Warehouse 13's little thing.
season premiere.
Yeah.
That one.
Fifth
Yeah,
and
those
final
words.
season.
Yeah, I'm disappointed.
I'm a little sad.
I'm a lot sad, but I'm a lot everything.
Oh, it's so sad. And I mean, it's about time. Typically, a sci-fi show will run for about 5 seasons. That's their typical number.
You want to give us a little background on the show?
Warehouse 13 is a show where 2 agents of the warehouse are going and grabbing artifacts, which cause all these sorts of like crazy problems when they are activated. And they are stored in this huge warehouse in the middle of nowhere. And there's stuff like the arrow that hit Achilles' heel. There's a stereotrope that makes you forget things and all sorts of different things. There's Houdini's handcuffs, all sorts of different stuff, and they have, because of the events surrounding this object.
Basically, they're infused with the emotions and properties of the circumstance. So,
yes, exactly.
Yeah. It's a really cool show.
Cool show.
It's so much fun. I love the characters. I'm so attached to like all the characters.
Oh yeah, and it's got this steampunk kind of vibe,
Yeah.
which is really nice, but it's modern day. And I mean, you meet some historical people, like you meet H.G. Wells. I'm not going to give much away on that, but you meet H.G. Wells, and you meet a couple of other people as well. There's like one time travel thing. It goes all over the place, and it's really exciting.
Yeah, and it's really cool because if somebody decided that the show needed to be a much longer term thing than just a 5 season, there are literally endless amounts of things that you can talk about. You think about a historical figure and something that's associated with them, and you can come up with basically, an artifact that they would use for the show and then come up with a plot around it. Like, for example, you could use Marie Curie's notebook and, say that maybe, it infuses an area with radiation because it's still properly infused with radiation.
The author of Alice in Wonderland's Mirror.
Yeah, that one was cool. That was a pretty cool episode.
Sounds cool.
Well,
should be.
What about Abe Lincoln's hat? You just grow giant and grow a beard, and you're like, ha ha ha.
Or you are very truthful all the time, honest Abe. So the hat forces you to tell the truth. I guess that could be it.
Maybe you could tie in the free the slaves thing, and now you can undo any shackles.
Or just
that's kind of cool. Yeah.
Or what is it? The government has Abe Lincoln's hat, and they're trying to interrogate a terrorist. Just like, okay, bring in the hat.
4
It's time for a hat.
Where were you?
Yeah. Well, the episode that premiered on Monday, it was the first episode of the final season. Because of the final season, the writers are really attached to the show. The actors are super attached to the show. So they're really hamming it up.
Yeah.
Like, hamming it up with all these jokes from other sci-fi related series. Like, they talk about the Borg.
Yeah.
You guys are Star Trek fans.
Borg.
The Borg. They make a mention of them.
A lot of pop culture references all throughout the show, not just this season.
And it's usually Pete.
Yeah, usually. I love Pete. He's so silly.
Pete's one of the main characters. He's one of the agents of the warehouse. He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
But it was really good. It was really exciting. If you haven't watched the show, please watch it. It's a great series, really fun.
The first 4 seasons are on Netflix.
Netflix, yeah.
You can watch it on Amazon. If you have the Amazon Prime, you can watch it streaming for free.
I might have to do that.
Yeah.
Sounds like it. I think I've seen a little bit of one episode, but I had something to do. So
it's a great show, and they have some. Occasionally, they'll have crossovers from other sci-fi shows. Like they had a crossover from Eureka.
Eureka, yeah.
And that was awesome. I loved Eureka back in the day, and see that tie-in was awesome.
For fans of Firefly, they have 2 actors from Firefly that make an appearance in one of the episodes. So that's always really fun. The thing about sci-fi shows is they like to use the same actors over and over again. And that's good for them, bad for newbies who want to get involved. But they always make these sort of cameos, and it's really great. It's kind of like...
There's actually quite a lot of Star Trek tie-ins in the show. There's a character, I can't remember his name, but he's played by Rene Auberjonois. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that. But he played Odo in Deep Space Nine. Captain Janeway, she's in it. Brent Spiner, who played Data in Star Trek Next Generation. It's so exciting to see these characters that you know and love and understand that they're participating in basically fanboying.
Oh yeah.
You know, you can tell that they appreciate this kind of content and that they want to participate in it again. It's great.
That's one of the things I love about sci-fi is they're so incredibly open to these odd cameos, to these really weird plot lines, and it's great to see a company like that doing that sort of thing. But also, on the other hand, they're known for really, really campy, scary movies.
Sharknado.
The best, worst movie ever. But yeah, if you are a Warehouse 13 fan and you didn't get to catch the 5th season premiere, check it out. It's on demand.
I'm sure it's
might be
somewhere on the
available on
internet.
Hulu as well. And you can purchase it on iTunes.
Woohoo! Purchasing iTunes.
Yay,
Yay, monies.
And you can definitely purchase it on Amazon.
Oh yeah.
Amazon.
Oh yeah, it's available in many, many places.
Find it. Watch it.
One of us. Maybe one of us.
It's worth it. We have cookies.
We have cookies.
Come to the dark side. We have cookies.
Do it. Kill him. I just want to do that. That's fun. All right, so
Another big news.
Oh,
Titanfall, I guess. That's kind of big. The new DLC coming out in May.
yeah, more maps. Woohoo! DLC.
Well, considering the game came out with 3 maps, it's kind of a shame that it didn't come out with more to begin with. So it really makes a lot of sense that they're being proactive about it and putting content out already.
It's like
Really.
$10 for the
That's
maps.
really
I don't
quick
know.
for DLC
Yeah.
to come out like that quickly.
They planned it this way.
I mean,
was all a part of
this
the
is a
diabolical
game
plan.
that's online only. Campaign's also online, so without maps, what do you have?
Mini transactions.
Yes, mini transactions.
Skins.
Yay, microtransactions.
I hate those.
Love those.
So
Micro-
good.
Yay.
Yuck.
I'd much rather just spend my $50, have a good quality game, and the only patch I want is something that's going to fix a bug.
Yeah,
If something's wrong,
I
I
agree.
want it fixed. I don't need to buy any additional content for it. If I want additional content, I'll buy your sequel.
or the Game of the Year edition that already has all the DLC included.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, you can just wait to buy the game and not get it on release. Just get the Game of the Year edition. Yeah.
Definitely so. So, again, Titanfall DLC coming out in May. Woohoo, maps. So, that will be it for this week's show. I'm glad you stuck around to enjoy it. Before we go, I'd like to showcase a song from a video game. This week's show tunes is from Assassin's Creed 2. The title track is Venice Rooftops. Till next week, stay beautiful.